Hello, dolls. It is Friday, June 28th in the United States, and this is a deeply late-night recording of What Chaos presented by Bauer. You know that on Fridays, we have ourselves a bit of a Bauer Friday, and today is no different. Brought to you by Bauer Hockey. Head to bauer.com/training to explore the full range of training gear like the digital reactor dangler for stick handling drills or the reactor slide board to help add strength to your stride. Use code FREESHIPWC for free shipping or visit a local Bauer retailer to get started today. My name is DJ Emery. That is Macklin Celebrini. And over there is
Sean
Demidov. Yeah.
We all did the exact same name, the exact same player, and said it three different ways.
Really?
We still have yet to find out this guy's the way that you pronounce Doug Demidov.
What did you fuck up when we learn a fourth prospect?
What did you
Cole
guys
Eiserman.
just say?
Cole Eiserman.
What did you say? What name pun did you just make?
Doug Demidov?
I know, but what did you actually say?
Sean Demipaz?
What did you say?
I can't remember, but if I were to bet, I think I just said Ivan Demidov.
I said Sean Depositov, I think.
That's
Okay.
a lot better. Because you're just making deposits.
Yeah.
The way you DFS.
You are not making deposits because you left your wallet in Florida.
We haven't slept or done anything, so I don't even know. I know that I tweeted about it. Have we discussed this on the pod?
I don't think so.
I don't think we have.
I left it in Florida, and I believe I've retraced my steps a million times. I'm pretty sure that I lost my wallet trying to look slimmer for a picture. I'm pretty sure you did the thing where you take the stuff out of your pockets. Sean's making a fucking face like he doesn't do that.
I don't do that. But when did you? When did you do that?
My ass. I'm already good in that department.
Like when would you have done that?
Outside of the Amerant Bank Arena in the front. So that's probably why when I've called Amerant Bank Arena multiple times, they've said they haven't found anything because they've searched inside. I'm like, my brother in Christ, search outside a little.
Interesting.
Can you expand? What do they call it? Expand
the perimeter.
Expand the perimeter for me one time. My wallet's gone. And also it sucked because I called the Florida Panthers arena like first thing in the morning when I'm sure Sasha Barkov was like doing God knows what with the Stanley Cup. I'm sure the party was still going on. And I'm like, excuse me.
They just won their first Stanley Cup in franchise history, and DJ's like,
back to work.
wallet, please.
Find my wallet. Morty Seinfeld voice. My wallet's gone. My wallet's gone. So I haven't had a wallet. Shout out. I didn't know how to use Apple Pay. It's all I do now.
Yeah, well,
it's my life.
You don't have any other option. We for a podcast that I think at this point we can say we are in absolute shambles. Like we are
lighting money on
fumes.
fire, have no energy, have truly not slept or eaten. And I'll be honest, I don't say this pessimistically. I just say it as a matter of fact. And the fact that like we've been so behind the eight ball, probably don't have like such an overwhelming amount of output to show for. Like we're probably doing a little more than we usually do. And for some reason, the odds have just been so stacked against us every step of the way that the fact that we're dying and all we've put out is loved the Oilers season, which we do every day anyway. We got a lot of stuff coming, though.
We got a good interview with Linus Ullmark.
That's not true. We got an incredible interview with Linus Ullmark. Shout out to Linus Ullmark. My point was going to be like, for anybody watching or listening to us from a distance, they're like, oh, man, 3 days into Vegas, these guys are fucking shot. We have not drank at all. We have not even gone out. We haven't done anything.
No drink, no drugs, nothing. Also, though, fucking like,
Sean's
no
done
water.
drugs.
I've done
Sean's done
plenty of
drugs.
drugs.
Oh, Sean's been
Like
sick.
medication.
I've been sick too. I'm not judging. I think you've been sicker than I have. I've just been like, sorry, buddy. I don't have time for the fact that you're sick right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be a baby some other time. I'm not saying that you're being a baby, but like the course of action when you're sick is be a fucking baby.
Mm-hmm.
And we did have a moment at some point, maybe today, I don't know, it's all flown together, where I was like, hey, I love that our group is if the situation's bad, let's none of us make it fucking worse by being like, what the fuck is this? This fucking sucks. Like, we've all been rowing, which is good. And again, we're not curing cancer here, but we are waking up at ungodly hours and trying to find places where we can talk to Lena Solmark in Sweden. And Lena Solmark was amazing with us. And not to do a second emotional episode this week, but like that moment that Lena Solmark had with you, I hope that in all this moving and shaking and everything, we have people that like us and shit. But like that was Pete, like I hope that with all the shit, and I'm not talking about your depression or anything, because that's we may be 3 for 3 in that department, but like that's that guy fucking likes you, and it shouldn't matter that he's a fucking famous person, but like that's a person that we know through something that should annoy him, and he really fucking likes you.
Yeah, no, it meant a lot to me, and it means a lot. Like the support and the outpouring of like messages that I got after that period was awesome, and I tried to respond to as many of them as I possibly could. But like that moment meant a lot for me. Lena Solmark means a lot to me, and like the little kid in me who has been a Bruins fan for my entire life. Like I know that I'm an adult man now, so it's like it's hard to be like, oh, a Bruins goaltender likes me, but like the little kid in me is like, I have a genuine friendship with a Bruins goaltender who has a Vezina and is just like a great person. When you zoom out and try not to like lose sight of how cool that is and how like doing this made that happen and all that. So like, yeah, it meant a lot to me.
He's the best. You know what else was the best? How cool was that debate? The presidential debate? Sean, I don't know if you saw. I kind of want to go right to you on this.
I watched it.
Uh-oh. How was that?
I mean, I sent a bunch of tweets out, the most popular of which was, I will marry any Canadian person tonight.
Whoa.
Get me the fuck out of here. This shit sucks.
It was very, very tough. And honestly, Pete and I were watching, hand up, we were laughing a lot.
We were laughing.
But
so
also,
you kidding me?
much.
You have to laugh
a
at it.
What else are you
delirious
gonna
kind
do?
of state.
But what else are you gonna
yeah.
do? What am I gonna go on Twitter and be like, oh, this sucks, the world is gonna end, we're all gonna fucking die? Like I know everybody's doing that. At this point, we're stuck with what we're stuck with. Hope that it doesn't get us all fucking killed, and realize that some things you just kind of have to laugh at. One of these guys is a fucking bozo, absolute clown, and the other one is 140 years old,
Not gonna lie,
completely senile.
After the first description, I wasn't sure which one you were starting
Yeah, I was
with.
going to say, like, respect.
Sorry, okay, he's a bozo felon.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, yeah. That makes it clear.
Somebody, I made a joke, and somebody on Twitter responded to me. It was like, "You're just mad your boy is losing." I was like, "Sir, neither one of these guys is my boy. No politician has ever been my boy, and no politician should ever be anybody's boy."
I mean,
you should not be a fan of politicians.
Preach.
They serve you.
That shit was
public transportation.
hard to watch.
Yeah.
Almost as hard to watch as the NHL Awards.
It wasn't hard to watch. I'll tell you what. It wasn't. It was. If you view it for what it is, it's entertainment. It's a sad state of affairs. But that shit was fucking hilarious.
I left before they got to complaining about golf.
Oh my god!
I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna fucking walk around the strip.
Was
That's what I did.
Truly insane. That was truly like Trump was just talking about how fit he was, and he was like, I just won 2 championships. First off, no, you didn't. Secondly, and then Biden would just I guess had to be like, my handicap's -6, and I'm like,
I think I checked out when Biden. This may not have been the first time or the only time that he did this, but he was like, and one more thing.
Yeah, right.
And
what do you say? Like, and also done.
And that was it. And then the moderator was just like,
oh my
okay,
god,
back
don't
to
get
you,
me
Mr.
started
Trump.
on the fucking moderators. They were terrible.
You about to say something about Dana Bash?
She's bad at being a moderator of a presidential debate. That's what I'll say about Dana Bash.
Fuck you, Sean. I think that Dana Bash is the coolest.
All right, this is enough. This is enough debate talk for me.
I love Dana Bash. She fucking mothers on a nightly basis.
Oh, we haven't even talked.
Bad at
All
her
right, I
job.
said last debate thing for me. Before we turned on the debate, DJ turned on some channel, and it was a panel of Chris Cuomo, Stephen A. Smith,
Yep.
and Adam
News Nation.
Carolla.
Yep.
What are we doing?
Who's
here?
asking for this?
I don't. I mean, I guess it gets back to what you were saying. It's a entertainment product.
It
I
is a
was
sad
texting
state of
with
affairs.
Ellen about like pre-debate stuff, and I sent her that picture and said, Pete, look, because we were in the same room, and Pete looked and said, I don't have my contacts in. What is it? And I was like,
You're not going to believe it, brother.
not even fucking worth it. Just keep your contacts out, brother.
I'm very disappointed that we did not get a Hunter Biden, who is on crack.
Yeah.
Got close. My last thing was the fact that Donald Trump got on stage and was like, I did not have sex with a porn star.
I love that.
After being convicted for illegally paying
Stand your ground, brother.
a porn star.
If you're gonna be a felon,
Deny.
if you're gonna
yes.
fucking lie about
Commit
shit,
to the bit.
lie about shit. You said
His facial expressions are untouched.
Oh, the facial
Untouched.
expressions when the other person wasn't talking, because Trump was. Look, Trump might have his faculties more than Biden does. It does not mean I can stomach that man whatsoever. But the various facial expressions when the other one was talking, Trump was like, I'm about to, as soon as he's done talking, I'm just going to deny what he's saying. And he's not going to remember what he was saying in the first place, so I'm going to win. And the whole time Trump was talking, Biden truly was like, where the fuck am I?
Oh yeah, no, he was mouth breather extraordinaire. Meanwhile, the third presidential candidate, RFK, who is somehow the least crazy despite having
come on,
despite
don't say
having
that.
a fucking brain parasite and being I'm joking a little bit, but he put out a video and the narrator was like, he was addicted to heroin, and I'm like, okay, all right, I guess, thanks for being honest.
Today on What Chaos? Politics. Sean, I heard you slip in there a little bit. Well, at least it wasn't the NHL Awards. For a second time, I'm going to hit Sean with a Bauer Friday. Fuck you, Sean. I thought the NHL Awards, granted I fell asleep during it, were the best. We haven't slept. I thought this was the best NHL Awards ever. A little peek behind the curtain. So if anybody didn't see, a man called Matt Friend hosted, and we received an email saying, hey, interested in having Matt Friend on the show? I asked Pete, I said, hey, I got this email. Who's Matt Friend? And Pete said, oh, he's pretty funny. He's hosting the NHL Awards. We said, great. Let's do it when we're in Vegas. We were kind of wishy-washy. Maybe it was our fault for not being as aggressive and locking down a time. 3 minutes into the award show, I emailed them back 3 minutes into watching this, and I now demand he come on whenever he can. Doing huge capital LOLs over here, exclamation point. That guy is cool.
That guy is extremely our brand of humor. Like I had like 4 people text me, be like, "This is so fucking cringe." And I
As
was just
Pete and
like,
I, well,
you
we're
don't
all
get
Okay,
each
so
other.
yeah, let me be clear. I didn't have a problem with him. My problem was that the NHL players are boring as shit.
Oh,
so
yeah, he
that was
exposed them.
That was the entirety of his bit.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
was like, these guys are fucking lame, and I'm gonna make fun of them and make fun of this whole thing for an hour.
Yeah.
And it's not good behavior.
Oh,
Like,
that-
the NHL's got to be pretty mad at this guy.
No,
I don't
I
think- but-
guarantee he does not work for the NHL again.
My thing is I don't think he went in there with the intention of like, I am going to expose the NHL for being boring as shit. I think he went in there to be a comedian. And
No, he
realized,
does-
I think he went in
he
there and
has some
said, there is a
material.
100% chance
Oh.
you bomb when you host this show. Will Arnett, who we all fucking saw at the All-Star game just being himself, and we were like, this is the funniest guy here, obviously. Will Arnett bombed hosting that show.
Yeah,
because
no.
your audience and doing it with people who are laughing goes along. Like,
Yes.
if you were to fucking isolate the sentences I speak, I would sound extra crazy. The fact that I sit with Pete, who fucking riffs off it, makes it seem like maybe we're grounded in some sort of earth. The fact that any comedian is saying things to a room full of expressionless, like stoic, I was going to say like North Americans, Canadians, whatever. It doesn't matter where
Virtually
they're from.
unwilling.
They are just not going to have fun.
Yeah.
it was
That's
so
what our show's for.
lame and such a bad look for the NHL, in my opinion.
I
But
thought this was a totally fine product. It was a guy that didn't awkwardly bomb. He had fun with it.
No, I don't think it was a bad look because of his performance. I think it was a bad look because it again exposed the NHL players for being boring as shit. They are the worst league in the world.
But what about our show?
People.
Like, when people say about our show, like, hey, and people were saying about the Allmark thing, they're like, hey, these guys showed players' personality. They come on, maybe it's because they know that we're a couple of Johnny joke men that when they come on with us, they can breathe a little bit. Maybe it's because they're just sitting in suits.
Yeah,
or something,
I mean,
and they act like it's a game day.
The two of you talking to a player is very different than a comedian on a stage.
Every side is set up to fail in the scenario of the NHL awards. The comedian is set up to fail because he's performing to a room of people who like are pretty unwilling. Unless like you've got unbelievable material, it's probably going to fall relatively flat. Like the only person I've ever seen fucking crush at one of these award shows was Norm Macdonald, who's probably the funniest person to ever live, and he crushed because he did some unbelievably over the line shit that would get him never invited back. Obviously,
I think that like Matt Friend hammered a gay joke early on, right?
He said that his beard was a woman.
Yeah.
So like the host is set up to fail. The players are set up to fail because they like, what are they supposed to do? They're not
to the fucking bit.
Yeah, but like
I almost tweeted
most
it.
of the players are just doing that shit because they just have to get through that hour or whatever it is so that they can go party and hang out with their friends. So
that's our next investigation. Why aren't players fun at the NHL awards? That's what we already did the Ariana Grande thing.
Because it's an obligation that they don't really want to do.
Again, commit to the fucking
Connor
bit.
McDavid it. Stay with your teammates.
Or
don't
don't fucking show up. That's also an option.
I just don't think. I think that they should like not have the awards. And
I mean,
I hate to be a lame person.
I want to watch that again. I
want to
see
be a
more of
lame
those.
person, but like the NHL awards are unnecessary, especially when you give out
half
like
of them
60%, 70% of them
Decentralize
before
the awards.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
the one thing that I guess not the one thing because I like Matt Friend, but one of the other things that I really did like about the show, it was an hour. It was fucking tidy. They got it in, they got out, and they got done.
Yeah, I agree with that.
No fucking magicians screwing up this year.
Jay Farrow, I thought was funny because he immediately got on the stage and was just like, "You guys are boring." And then Loud Luxury was just hilarious because they were like, "Yeah, make some noise for Nathan McKinnon," and no one made noise.
A check.
No one made noise.
We are going to speak to the great Cam Robinson from Elite Prospects because today is your lucky day, folks. Not only is it Bauer Friday, it is the NHL Draft preview. And we've talked about some prospects that we've liked. We're going to talk about a whole lot of prospects with him, pick his brain, maybe even goof around with him. That's in just a few minutes. But I'd like to run around some of the moving and shaking that has happened, at least to this point, late at night on, or I guess in the wee hours of Friday morning. The big one of the day, Andrew Mangiapane to the Capitals for a second-round pick. He's in the last year of a 3-year deal, paying him $5.8 million a year, had 35 goals in 2021-22, but that's his only 20-goal season. Coming off a bad year, 14 goals, 40 points in 75 games. I'd say a good winger. I still consider him a goal scorer, and I have thoughts on this trade. I'm interested in yours.
I like the player. I don't mind the ad for the Capitals. I don't know if I'd give up a second-round pick for him.
I love the ad for the Capitals because they are just saying fuck it. And I don't know what their plan is with saying fuck it, but so far they have added an overpaid Andrew Mangiapane and a definitely overpaid Pierre-Luc Dubois. I don't know what their pipeline is like, but maybe it ain't a Daniel Plainview-esque pipeline. And they're like, you know what? In the final years of Ovi or whatever, let's just get some fucking veterans who have shown, who are like high end, but not maybe high production, and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, again, I really like the player. And when Calgary had a good team, he was a central part of it. And I think he's a really good offensive player. He's a guy that team could use and will use. I don't necessarily know if I love the price again, especially if you're only getting 1 year.
Yeah.
Like, he may be a rental for that team. Maybe not. I don't know. It's worth. I think it's worth a shot.
They'll recoup something if they suck, though. If Pierre-Luc Dubois tanks their season, they're flipping him, and they're probably getting a second-round pick at the deadline. Maybe.
Flipping Pierre-Luc Dubois.
No. If Pierre-Luc Dubois, I'm sorry, that was a subject, indirect, whatever thing. Yes, Sean?
Charlie O'Connor from PHOI summed it up perfectly, which is I respect that Washington is committing to being like respectable while Ovi is still on the roster.
Well, they have to.
They're not going to be. They're not a Stanley Cup contender. They're not even particularly close. But
no, but
they'll be
you
playoff food.
You can't be a depressing
I agree.
product as Alex Ovechkin is closing in on Gretzky's record. Like
Well,
it can't be a sad story where you limp across the finish line.
You could if you actually cared about like trying to be a
Good
Stanley
again.
Cup contender soon.
Yeah.
But I respect that their priority is respecting Ovi.
They do have like right now they kind of have the vibes of Island of Misfit Toys, where they're just like, we need to put together a respectable product. We will take whatever you give us.
Yeah.
Can we talk about it from the Flame side? Because I have a thought on this that is probably popular.
Who plays for the Flames?
Jake DeBrusk plays for the Flames. They're clearing money for something, right? I don't know if DeBrusk's getting $5.8 million a year, but maybe they're just like, yeah, let's sign Jake DeBrusk for $5 million a year, and we get a free second round pick, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They certainly. I don't know anybody who plays for the Flames. I really don't. The Flames just don't have players.
I'm making a quote graphic of that. I don't know anybody who plays for the Flames. Jacob Markstrom plays for the Devils.
Yep. So Kevin Ball
Jonathan Huberdeau loves
That's
it
true.
too.
That's true.
Who's the defenseman?
Mackenzie Weegar.
Yep. Kevin
Dougie
Ball.
Hamilton used to play for him. Mark Giordano, boy, was he good.
Tisha Ginla maybe
Jerome
in the next
McGinley.
24 hours.
Yes,
All
coming
right,
soon.
Flames putting out the call. Tell us your players.
UC Saros re-ups on an 8-year extension that pays him 8.774, or is it 7.884?
7.74, and you know how I won't know that?
7.74.
Because his number is 74, and he did the old contract trick where instead of 7.75, give me $100,000 less per year so that I can do a little novelty number with my jersey number.
That is ridiculous.
That is stupid.
He gave up legitimately what? I mean, that's being taxed, but that's like,
$800,000.
he's giving up at least like what, like $450,000.
How do you know he gave it up and then asked for a little more for the fun of it?
Oh, maybe it was supposed to be 0.3.
No, I think that the general consensus from the insiders here is that he left money on the table because he wanted to stay in Nashville.
No, he didn't. He's one of the best goalies in the league, but like, no, he did. Like, I don't like that contract.
Well, I mean,
I know, like maybe I know what you're saying. Maybe somebody else would have been stupid, but like, bad contract.
I don't want to say bad contract, but I don't necessarily get it if I'm Nashville, because you have Yaroslav Askarov, who's in the pipeline, 22 years old.
Pipeline.
He's in the pipe. He's a pipeline boy. He's supposed to be like the guy who's just taking over after Saros, and now they said that the plan is that they're gonna play him in the AHL in Milwaukee next year. Like, is that guy just going to hang around for fucking 8 years?
It's like what the Bruins did to Jeremy Swayman, except they signed Linus Ullmark to a 4-year deal. They're
and
signing
then he
a guy
became
to
best friends with the guy that they signed. So he was like, okay, cool.
I had Linus Ullmark on the show this week.
Maybe
Check it
they
out.
want to go tandem mode.
Or maybe that's their chip.
I mean, maybe I think like obviously it's different because the Sabres didn't have a UC Saros, but like Devin Levi was supposed to be the guy, and he was certainly not ready for that. And if especially with Nashville trying to be competitive, if he's not ready and they got rid of Saros, they fucked themselves.
Yeah. I mean, but 8 years and for that contract is like a very significant commitment.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to let's discuss Bauer, because Bauer is just the bee's knees. You know that this episode is brought to you by Bauer Hockey. You can head to bauer.com/training to explore the full range of training gear, like the digital reactor dangler for stick handling drills, which we'll talk about that in just a second, or the reactor slide board to help add strength to your stride. Use code FreeShipWC for free shipping, or visit a local Bauer retailer to get started today.
Today's episode also brought to you by our friends at Lucy.
Lucy!
I love to slip in a Lucy once in a while, because guess what? Lucy is delicious. It's nicotine pouches. They're 100% pure nicotine, always tobacco free. They come in pouches, gum, and they have the breakers as well. Sean, get into the details of those breakers.
I mean, they got a little pot in them with a little extra, like a little flavor juice. You break that thing open, it releases extra flavor.
Like a warhead.
Yeah, but with
no.
nicotine.
Warheads are solid candies.
But there's shit
They
inside.
do
Nope.
have like that liquid.
Yes, they
inside.
do.
Warheads have the liquid
Like
inside.
sour warheads.
Yeah.
Sean, they have stuff inside. Okay.
I am rather confident they don't.
If we had more time, I truly would go down to the hotel lobby in Vegas and spend $900 on warheads.
Break one right in your
Break
face.
one
and
right in your
and
fucking
watch
face,
that
brother.
Liquid drip out.
Yeah.
Everything reminds me of her. Breakers are available in 4 or 8 milligrams. They've got mint, they've got berry, they've got citrus, and they've got espresso if you want to get crazy. The pouches go all the way up to 12 milligrams. If you're not a pouch guy or gal, Lucy Gum is available in 2 milligram, 4 milligram, or 6 milligram. You can also get a subscription service and just have Lucy delivered straight to your door. No more weekly gas station trips like an absolute degenerate. Just stay at home. Be lazy. That's the way to go. Level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.co/whatchaos and use promo code whatchaos to get 20% off your first order. Lucy offers free shipping and has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. That is lucy.co. Use code whatchaos to get 20% off and always free shipping. Here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. All right. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Bauer.
Let's talk NHL Draft with Cam Robinson. You've already gotten the best draft coverage possible from us, but we're going to try one more way. We're going to bring in Cam Robinson from EP Rinkside, Director of Hockey Content of Elite Prospects, knows everything about players, doesn't make stuff up, although I've enjoyed making stuff up and just kind of going off vibes.
So this is to fill you in. We just like making up things about players, and it's great journalistic integrity.
Content, right? It's
I honestly-
that content.
Well,
I honestly feel like some people who like do this seriously kind of just make stuff up about players sometimes. So
Well,
You're
honestly,
not
we were
wrong.
just saying that with the Sharks getting Jake Wallman and them already having Mario Ferraro, they're going for like a big content creation team over there.
Yeah.
Who in the draft would fit them? Maybe with the 11th overall pick? Is that what it is that they just acquired from Buffalo?
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So who are the goofballs in this draft?
Oh man, the goofballs, hey, the fun guys. I mean, TJ Ginla. I think
Oh.
he's fun.
Is he?
He's fun.
I want him to the Sharks so badly.
He's not there at 11.
I know.
He's not there at 11.
That's been.
unfortunately.
We're not like big draft guys, but the most that we've talked about the draft, I think, is about TJ Ginla, where we want him to go, where we think he'll go. Like, what's the latest pick you see him going?
Well, I'll say this, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Calgary.
But so I do this bold predictions article every year, and it's coming out. It might already be out right now. And I do 5. And this year I did a little spice, and I texted a bunch of GMs and scouts, and I said, "Give me your bold predictions." So 3 guys came back at me and said, "Teach falls to Calgary at 9," and they pass.
Oh
No, that would break my heart.
don't
that-
you?
So I'm just saying, one of them was not Craig Conroy. So I'll just clear that up.
I mean, we've done the whole.
Nobody likes teaching him. Just let him fall.
Yeah, exactly. That was his opinion. On
There's
it,
been a few
right?
people where a few guys where we've been like, yo, if he's on the board, you have to take him.
Mhm.
And not necessarily like quality players, but just names. What was the one? Gunnar Wolf Fontaine.
Oh yeah.
If you pass on a guy, Gunnar Wolf Fontaine, in like the 4th, 5th round, what are you doing?
And he
What are we
ends up.
even doing
That,
here,
that was the
right?
thing. Like Gunnar Wolf Fontaine becoming a good player. Truly, we were saying should get somebody fired. It's okay to pass on a player named Gunnar Wolf Fontaine. However, if you pass on a player named Gunnar Wolf Fontaine and they end up being good, you have to lose your job. Because everyone will say, well, you definitely had to have known about that guy. His name was Gunnar Wolf Fontaine. And it shows that you just don't know what you're doing.
Well, and I mean, worst case scenario, he ends up like a villain in a Die Hard movie, right? Like, so
Yes.
you're getting value out of this kid. Yeah.
Can
100%.
we talk about I don't know if he's my favorite prospect in the draft, but he's my the only prospect in the draft I really talk about other than EJ Emery, who's really nice because we met him in the hall the other day.
Love EJ too.
You love EJ?
Love EJ. Beauty kid, beauty family. And
His
I like
family was very nice.
Right? Yeah. So a Canadian kid playing for the U.S. National Team Development Program too. So like he grew up just like an hour from where I grew up, and so we had that in common. But he's a good player and a good kid.
You know,
for sure.
I like to do some like superficial scouting. Like if it's like a football player, what position, where do they go to college? Everything I need.
What's the 40-yard dash?
My superficial scouting with hockey prospects has always been like depending on the position. If you're a defenseman, I just want posture out of you.
Yeah.
And that kid stands straight as a board.
He really
He's going to
does.
be a player. He's going to, like, I didn't care about the handshake. Very nice kid, very nice family, as Pete said. That kid stands up straight.
He has some Kevin Korchinski to him.
He's got some a little Korchinski
Just
to
a
him.
tall guy who's skinny and tall and has good posture.
Just shredded too, eh? Like he had like a 3.5% body fat at the
I
combine.
didn't ask
Wild.
him to take off his shirt, but
I mean,
I'll
that's
take
probably
your
a
word.
good choice. Yeah,
But so
still a child.
EJ might be my favorite player. The one that throws me for the biggest loop, though, is Demidov. I've watched some of his highlights, and it would appear, and this is going to come back to bite me because he's going to grow on to be one of the greatest hockey players ever. It would appear he plays hockey like respectfully, an insane person. Does he not play like a maniac with his on ice, we'll call it awareness, decisions, or whatever? I look at him and I see either someone who is going to change the way that hockey is played or someone whose talent somehow like gets the better of him. Is that a fair read?
I mean, he alleviated a lot of the concerns coming out to Florida there, getting measured. Now we see he's 6'1". He's going to play at like 200 pounds. Like he's a sturdy kid now. He's not 5'9" and a half, 165 pounds. Speaks English. He says he wants to come over. So all those things are alleviated. But the fact that he's played 2 seasons in the MHL without being really challenged in 2 years, no international play, no KHL time. So it's like he can dominate. So he can play like a maniac at that level because he's so much better than everybody else. But at the same time, like, this kid's going to be Kirill Kaprizov. Like, that's the type of player that you could be getting at like 22.
So that's why you think he's like doing weird things where he's like jumping over defenders' sticks on 2-on-1s and everything, just to like see what.
Just keep
like
it
he's
spicy,
bored.
man.
Yeah.
Exactly. They do get bored at that level. You can see it. Like, and he'll try some stuff that you should not try, but he can get away with it at that level. And it's like, why not, right? Let him be creative at that spot, and then see what happens. You gotta flesh it out a little bit when he goes pro.
I think this is my guy. I think to me, I know he's going to be. Where do you think he goes? Top 5?
I mean, yes, I don't think he's sliding past Montreal at 5, but he could definitely be there. Like, the draft starts at 3 this year, I think. I think Chicago's pretty well locked in with Levshunov, and then we'll see. Anaheim's a wild card, like complete wild card.
As they often are.
Exactly, right? Like, we're hearing all sorts of names with them. Beckett Seneca, even. Like, this kid who's just a late riser could slip up in there. They could go D, but I think Montreal would be very excited to take him.
Where do you stand on Cole Eiserman? Because he's a local kid for us, and kind of been following him for a few years at this point, and his stock has gone up and down. Where do you land on him?
You ride the roller coaster with that kid for
Yeah.
sure. I was out at the USHL Fall Classic in September, saw him at the very beginning of the season, saw him at the U18s in Finland, watched all their games there, saw him at the end of the season. And like, it took until the second to last game that I saw of the year where I was like, there he is. That's the kid you want. That's the player you want, where he's physical, he's skating hard, he's shooting hard, he's doing all the things. And then some of the other times just like infuriating with his effort. And when he has the puck, like, everybody knows what he's going to do with it. He's going to shoot it. But I mean, there's not a better goal scorer in this class. And so if a team swings at him at like 7 or 8, won't be surprised. If he's there at like 15, 16, won't be surprised. Like, he is got a wide range for sure.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, from a very zoomed out perspective, like, where do you read this class? Is it going to be top heavy? Is it going to be underwhelming?
The kids say it's mid.
It's
Yeah.
mid.
Say it's mid.
Yeah, no cap. Is that right? Did I
You
know
are
that?
the
Yeah.
second guest in 2 days. Lena Solmark said no cap to us yesterday.
I don't even know if I've ever said that or if I just used it correctly, but my niece says it, so I think I got it.
To be
I think I nailed
fair,
that,
Linus
yeah.
Hallmarks is way cooler because he said Hakuna Matata, no cap.
Oh, that guy's got. I should just leave
Killed
right
you.
now.
None of us.
right?
Yeah, there's only one.
Yeah. It is. I'd say it's about average. It's mid. I mean, Celebrini is like a very worthy first overall pick. Like, you take Bedard over him, but otherwise the last 6 or 7 years, I'm not sure you take anyone else ahead of him. Maybe
Wow.
you have the conversation with Jack Hughes, but like completely different players. He's just like so well-rounded with that high-end offensive game. Then we got the dip, right? And then it's like 2 till 9, 2 to 10. That's kind of its own little chunk, its own little ledge. And then after that, the wash is on. Like, it's going to be crazy after that.
So like, I find, tell me if I'm wrong on this. When I was a beat writer, I would like I would take like the players from different years and see how many games they played based on where they were drafted and everything. And like, my general thing I came up with that GMs yelled at me for was that like top 10, you should get a player who has a good long NHL career. And 11 on, not to say that it's a crapshoot or anything, but like 11, like the difference between 11 and say 50 isn't as crazy as like the difference between like 2 and 3, something like that. So like after you get out of the top 10, it can really kind of be a lot wider. Is that where it is this year? And did you agree with that general premise?
Oh, 100%. Like it's, you better hit in the top 10. You won't always hit, but you better, right? Like
shout out Zach Hamill.
Yeah. So, some of these teams like San Jose who have multiple picks in the top 12 or whatever, they have a little more leeway to take like a big cut, right? So now San Jose at 11, like they can just go take a swing on someone like Yzerman, right? And then him and Celebrini are like best buddies. Like that could be a lot of fun.
Oh, that would be, yeah.
Like they played together at Shattuck when they were like 13, 14, won a national championship together. They're boys from way back. And he's going to BU next year and Celebrini might stick around for a year at BU. So, in that sense, you can, but like if you're a team with one pick and you're picking at 9 or something, you're Calgary, it's like, you better not blow this, right? And then when you're down in those 15, 20 range, it's like, are you going to go and be like, this guy could be a 4th line center for us if everything works out? It's like, you can go get that guy on waivers. You can go sign him for $1 million. Take a swing. Yeah. Take a swing on someone who maybe is a top 6 or a top 4D for you. Someone with like a unique skill set, but some warts to their game. So that's kind of my philosophy in general. But teams that are like, they need to put their stamp to be like, we got an NHL player in that first round. Let's go safe.
What about Levchinov? You said that there's a dip after 1. Where would he generally go in another year? And do you think that he is a smart move for the Blackhawks? Because I'm sure there's temptation when you have a player like Connor Bedard to follow the Toronto model and say, not that there should ever be temptation to follow the Toronto model, but you know what I'm saying though, where you're like, I got a young star player. Let's get him 1 million young star players. And they do have young defensemen, and some who like Vlasic, who are coming along really nicely. Is going with the defenseman there the move, and what level prospect would you say he is?
Yeah, it wouldn't be my move. How about that? It's the safe move. It's, that they have been accruing that kind of like a little bit smaller skilled talent, obviously Bedard, but they got Oliver Moore in the first round last year too. Super speedy, super skilled, but a little slight. Frankie Nazar, like loads of skill, right? But undersized. So I'm sure they're looking at that and they're like, Chicago won all those championships with that big beefy blue line, right? And so they're like, we got to replicate that. So they get themselves Artem Levchinov, who is like not a slam dunk number 1D, like probably a top pairing D. But again, like I'm not betting my house on it. So are you going to settle for someone who's maybe like a 2-3D and pass up on a potentially like star level talent?
So who
would it be like Demidov or?
So if it's me sitting in the hot seat with Chicago, I'm going Demidov. Okay. And just the temptation to link him and Bedard up would be too much to pass up. I'd be like, let's go find a D somewhere else. We've got a whole bunch of other draft picks that we can package up, or we got a bunch of cap space. Let's go like take a swing on a free agent or something like that and get someone who can like stabilize, rather than putting all your money on an 18-year-old kid who looks good on the blue line, but doesn't look electric, doesn't look like he's going to be a game changer sort of thing. But that would be what I would do.
Before we go any further, is it Demidov or is it Demidov?
So
we've had this debate.
I'm sorry about that.
It's all good.
I never like to chunk a pronunciation. I try to put respect on people's names. It's Shams. It's not Shams. Everyone be nice to the guy. If I chunked his name, I'm heartbroken.
To be honest with you, I've chunked some names before, so it's all good. I'm told it is Demidov.
Okay,
I like because that sounds like Dimmadome.
Like Doug Dimmadome.
There you go.
Do you know Doug Dimmadome?
I do not.
What do you know about Doug Dimmadome?
I know
Fairly Odd Parents?
Yeah, no.
He's the owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Okay.
Yeah, he wears a tall
reference
hat.
right off.
I never saw this show. I'm like 100 years too old for it, but the kids say that no cap. It's pretty busted. Yeah, if you know what I'm saying.
We're so fresh. Like this is we got to get this on TikTok. This is going viral, right? Yeah, this is it.
My bros give it the Hawk Tua.
Your bro should not be giving anything to Hawk Tua.
Penises are for everyone on this podcast.
We have a strong Boston Bruins following, so it's imperative we ask who in this draft is tall.
An American.
Yeah, tall and American. I mean, shoot, I'm trying to think. I know.
Can we change EJ Emery's citizenship?
I mean, he's got to have dual citizenship just to be down there playing for that program. So he's
That's
tall
true.
enough,
Sign
right?
him up.
Yeah, some of the bigger guys, like this year, it's Dean Letourneau. He's Canadian, though. He's 6'7" with a 7-foot wingspan.
I don't know.
Okay.
If they're tall enough, they might overlook not being American.
There's Anton
Salayev. 6'7", skates like the wind, but he's Russian.
He's Russian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tall Americans that are any good. I mean, Will
No,
Skahan.
it doesn't have to be any good.
Oh, okay. Well, how about Will?
Bruins drafting.
Will Skahan, or he's good. He's 6'3", and the kid is built like a truck. Like his one leg is my entire body. Like he is a monster already, and he's probably 6'3", 6'4". So he's a big boy on the blue line, American kid.
Okay,
Yeah.
we got. I'll tell you what. A lot of tall Russian and Czech guys, huh?
Yeah.
Who's this Dean Letourneau?
Yeah. So he's a wild card too.
Boston
man.
College.
Going to BC and right out of prep school there at St. Andrews. So he's playing against high school kids and just dominating them,
That
putting up
sounds mean.
3 points a game sort of thing. He handles the puck like he's Mitch Marner, but he's 6'7".
That seems very mean.
And he's going to BC now straight. It's going to be a huge level jump for him. Probably have a really weak freshman year and then grow. It's people are saying could be Tage Thompson, right? Bit of a weight, but we see Tage just dancing, right? Just the guys can't touch him even though he's such a monster. Letourneau could be that guy. So he could be going in the teens, or he could be an early day too.
I think we got our guy, Adam Kleber.
Clever. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, right shot D.
Right shot D,
Yeah.
6'5".
Yeah, there you
When
go.
was the last time the Bruins like drafting 6'5" right shot Ds? Famously, Dougie Hamilton and Brandon Carlo.
There you go.
Bam, there you go.
So he's
There's
obviously their
precedent.
pick.
Yeah, there's precedent, and he's American, so they're going to like him more than Dougie Hamilton.
So he's at pick 25 that they just got back.
He's
Yes.
and he's
So
the
there it is.
52nd rated prospect. So that sounds
So
kind of
25. Yeah.
right
He's a
about what-
riser though. He's sneaky. He's
I've
pretty
heard
good.
tall people famously do rise.
There's
Yes.
been rumblings that the Bruins will not be picking at 25.
Oh yeah, they're gonna do the Brian Burke hey, so you've got X amount of picks. Not if I have my way. I
Yeah.
won't have X amount of picks.
What is your most intriguing thing to watch heading into Friday's first round?
I mean, we've already talked about him, but Demidov is a complete wild card. We talked about Cole Eiserman, another complete wild card. I'm really interested. The TG Ginla storyline. Caden Lindstrom, who I think is a monster. He's going to be special. He's going to be so good. Is he going to be snapped up? We hear a lot of rumblings. Columbus at 4. But if maybe they take Demidov,
Did he play at Michigan? Because Columbus is only interested in players. that have played
True
at Michigan.
enough. No, he played Medicine Hat, but he's
Okay.
6'4", 215, super raw. He's got massive potential to be a matchup nightmare. If you stack him and Fantilli in Columbus, they're gonna be the envy of the league.
Are there any guys in this top 10? Because it feels like every team after the Blackhawks and possibly maybe even the Blackhawks is we're open for business, and everyone's we don't care, and no one's really trying to trade up as much. But for a team that's in the top 10 and does have that feeling of we just need to get a player out of this, who in that group is I'm trying to think of a recent example, but not the highest ceiling, but definitely is going
Sure
to get
shot.
at least 200 games in the NHL.
Oh, in that top 10?
Yeah.
Kid like Z Buyam, defenseman, so playing for Denver, played a big role in that U.S. World Junior team as a draft eligible. They won gold. Played a big role in that Denver team, won a national ship, right? This kid is a player, but he put up monster points as the youngest defenseman in college hockey. I think he put up 50 points in 40 games, which is unheard of for someone his age. But I don't think it's really reflective of the offensive upside he has at the NHL level. And some evaluators will disagree with me, because he just doesn't have electric feet. He's not Hughes or McCarr or anyone like that. But I had someone point out, well, no, there's Adam Fox. So he's got that kind of level of juice to his game where he has this really excellent defensive game that he can fall back on if the points don't run. And if he's on a team that has an elite mover, he can be your power play 2 guy. But safe. So Utah. They could snap him up there. I could see Ottawa maybe, even though they got a buttload of left shot defensemen already. But those guys, I think Ottawa's trying to move that pick crazy is what we've been hearing, is that they are open for business, just like we heard Buffalo was. And obviously Buffalo slipped back now, so they're doing.
What is your ceiling on Celebrini? I know that you said he's maybe the second best behind Bedard over in the last recent while, but is he truly franchise altering, not only right now, but can he be the best Shark of all time or whatever?
I got Jumbo on that docket there.
I know.
That's a tough one to match up against.
Duclair podcast as well. So.
They got Jumbo, they got Duclair,
Yeah.
They got Patty Marlowe.
But
right?
what is the reasonable
Paris Miller,
expectation?
Half Falloon?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Let's keep digging here, right?
Yeah.
Owen Nolan? No, he's a player, man. Like in the EP draft guide, like we gave him shades of Sidney Crosby and Jonathan Taves. And so I've been telling
Shades of Sidney Crosby is like, you shouldn't be allowed to say
well, so
that.
hold on. So I know, right? So what I've been saying to people though
pressure.
is that if you ever saw Pineapple Express, if those two came together and had a baby, that baby is Macklin Celebrini. So it gets a little bit watered down through the osmosis there. But just like he is a true power center. Like he's not. If he was 6'3", he's like Eric Lindros sort of thing, right? Like he runs guys through the end boards. He'll catch them in like open ice and have them just like sucking for air. He can dangle. He can score from distance. He can hit you with the pass. Like he just does. He wins faceoffs. He can kill penalties. So he's one of these guys that like I don't think he's ever probably going to put up like 100 plus points, 110 plus points, maybe. But he's going to be like that 80, 90 point guy that's just going to step up in the playoffs and be a difference maker on both ends of the ice. So yeah, I think he can change the complexion of the Sharks, their immediate and long-term future here. And he's good enough to lead him to a cup. And I mean, for first overall pick.
So you think really good two-way guy, though?
Very good two-way guy. Very good, but like has that offensive juice too, right? So, a little bit like Taves, where, I don't know what his peak was. Maybe it was 85 or 90 points in his, and that's kind of what I expect. He could end up being like Nate Mack if he added a little bit more quickness. He's already an excellent skater, but McKinnon.
And don't forget, like two-way guys can just decide to like scale it back a little bit and sell out and go. Like Pete always brings up that like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins one time just decided
to get 100
I'll
points.
be 100 point guy this year.
And
then he tried it and he was like,
let's try it.
He's like, I like back checking too much.
Yeah.
I'm going to get back to doing my thing.
Yeah, well, and Stevie Y did it the opposite way, right? All about them points early, getting 150 plus points, but couldn't do anything in the playoffs. He's like, all right, I'll play some defense, and then, the rest is history.
So is there anything not to like about Celebrini's game?
He's 5'11" and a half.
What the fuck are you saying?
He's
too tall for
he's too tall, man. Like he's too tall. He's gonna drop. No, that's the only knock is that he's not like that 6'2", 6'3" guy that you can be like he can match up against any center in the league. Is that but he's built like a fire hydrant too, right? So he's going to be able to handle that anyways. But he said he was 6 foot, and then the combine is I think it's 5'11" and 3/4, and he's like
humiliating.
He was just a gut punch. He's like, I can't believe it wasn't 6. Just
devastating.
Well, Cam, you're incredible. Thank you so much for joining us, man. We've enjoyed this conversation. I feel that we now go into the draft more excited, and I'm trying to think of how much more knowledgeable, because you gave us a lot of information and we mostly fucked around, but we're going to go in and it's going to be a party in the Sphere. Are you looking forward to the Sphere?
It's going to be a good time, right? Like we're going to be sweaty in there probably.
I've gotten a couple of tips here and there as to like how the presentation will go in there, and it will go predictably insane.
Yeah.
And endearing in a good way. I'm looking forward to it.
They're gonna blow it out, right? Last live draft for everybody. It's a bummer.
You gotta be bullshit about that.
Oh man, this is my Super Bowl. Like
That's
this
what
is
I'm saying.
like we spend all year doing this, like and going to the rinks and drinking shitty coffee and scouting these kids and being in different time zones, and then we come here or Montreal or Nashville and we have such a great time and everybody's here, all the media, all the NHL. And so, when I was in Helsinki last month, I was already talking to GMs and they're like, we already regret voting to decentralize the draft. Like there's already so maybe this will just be a little blip. Maybe it'll be a few years and they come back. It's the NHL. This is the one thing they had on every other sport was the draft was superior to everyone else's. And
the Sphere is going to go gangbusters, probably. Like, and people are going to be like, so you're not doing this? This is like, you're proving that this can be such a cool event. And you're saying, you know what? Better not. It would be very NHL, but I hope they keep it going.
I feel like they're going to go bankrupt just on this weekend alone. Like I'm sure this one they are going all out for this.
Same with us. We're out here renting every space we can to record podcasts.
Our Uber driver told us on the way here that Hewlett Packard had John Mayer and Dead & Company close their presentation for HP. So NHL, empty the bank account.
Yeah, let's go.
Get Mayer out here.
Yeah, that'd be a good time.
I think it might be too late, but maybe next year.
Yeah. Award show. We'll see. I'm sure there's gonna be some fancy folks there. Hey, Vegas, maybe
like Keenan Thompson.
Yeah.
I saw something with Brad Garrett. That'd be cool.
Brad Garrett. Yes.
Yeah.
Would love that. Cam, thanks so much. We love you. Have fun. Hopefully, all of this ages amazingly well for you, and it probably won't.
It never does.
What's your worst aged draft take?
Worst one, God, Jake Wise in the first round, like way back in 2017 or something like that. And Like he's not even a player, not even like draft. Like he got drafted in the 3rd round or something like that and didn't get signed. And like that was a bad one. I've learned, but I will say way back in the day, I put Jake Gensel in the 1st round and he slipped to the 3rd. So that might be my best call.
Yes.
That might be the best one. So Jake, yeah. And he's coming to Vancouver now. So that'll work out. We can be boys.
There you go.
Just giving a little pitch in there for Vancouver.
I love
Yeah.
the stories of guys who love prospects and then they go maybe a little lower than they wanted them to go and they get vindicated. There's some story. I
Oh,
want to
yeah.
say it's the Islanders, where somebody at the Islanders table who was not being maybe given enough respect was banging the table like, we need, like in the 2nd round, like we must trade up and take Brad Marchand. We need Brad Marchand.
Yeah.
And they were like, relax, dude. Like it's a long day.
This is
like,
a 5'9" into the queue here, or whatever.
like, yeah, you're right. Just like chill. And then like the Bruins drafted him and he stormed over to the Bruins. I forget who it was, but he stormed over to the Bruins draft table and he was like, congrats, you just got a fucking Hall of Famer.
Oh wow, what a
Yeah.
call, eh?
He was
that's
just like I
beauty.
fucking knew like
Yeah.
this
That's
guy's
amazing.
gonna be so good. No one believes me.
Oh, you could retire on that. I'm sure that's got him a few jobs, right? You just
Yeah.
got to play that clip for every interview you have. See, I called it
Amazing.
on Marchand. Yeah.
And if Marchand doesn't end up being anything,
you just forget
that
about
story
it.
probably
You just
like,
don't- just
look,
erase.
people were yelling stuff. Who
Right,
knows?
yeah, that wasn't even me. Yeah, no,
I was on cocaine.
yeah. It was the 80s, man. Yeah.
I
Thanks
mean,
so
drafting Brad Marchand in the first place is a pretty cocaine move in a very respectable way. Just be like,
Absolutely,
let's
right?
get this guy.
Yeah.
He seems insane.
He's a rat.
And he ends up being a Hall of Famer. Love it so much. Cam, you're the
Beauty.
best. Really appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me on, boys.
All right, we'll see you at the draft.
See you there.
You ready to get all spherical?
Yeah, I'm ready for the sphere. That's I gotta be honest. I'm not
you
really.
do. You've got to.
I'm not.
What are
really-
we without honesty?
I'm not really a draft guy. I think the draft is important. I think the draft is a great event that I love coming to every year. The actual draft is always the least favorite part of the trip and the weekend for me.
Unless if you've done some bonkers drafts, which I was fortunate enough to do. 2015 draft, you fucking had to be there. It was amazing. Eichel's getting drafted. McDavid's getting drafted. People, as you're running around, stopping you, being like, hey, Boston guy, right? You're aware that we're all like laughing at like, does your GM know what he's doing? And
But-
it was a scene.
But that still is sort of like slightly the spectacle of the draft and everything going on around the draft, not the actual draft itself.
Okay, you're talking
So-
about like the players getting selected you don't care about?
Yeah, and like the just kind of just like going up on stage, doing the
Oh, yeah, that
jerseys,
part-
doing the interviews, like
That part you're text messaging.
great night for all the kids, all the prospects. It's amazing. For me, I like the spectacle of it all. I'm very excited about the Sphere. I'm very excited about the scene around Las Vegas. And honestly, one of my favorite parts of the draft every year is right after the draft ends, you just see a bunch
where
of
this is going.
first round draft
In
picks
their
who were
jerseys?
recently drafted, just wearing their jerseys in the streets of whatever fucking city it's in, and like them and their families go to restaurants
Last
or
year in
bars
Nashville was
right
awesome.
around right around the arena. They have like tables of 10, and you just see a first round draft pick who's going to be a future stud in the league just sitting at a table with his family wearing a blank jersey. And
So,
I'm a
and
little
eating
afraid
chicken tenders.
we're gonna lose that
because
here.
Vegas is so big.
It's so
and
big, and like half
they're
the
not
places
gonna
are
let
21
anybody
or 20 or over.
Yeah.
Although I'm not going to name names. That's also the case in Nashville, and there were definitely players at places they weren't.
Are you
Nope,
narking
not
on
naming names.
first round draft picks?
What? I was last year in Nashville. It could have been any round draft picks.
It's no, the only kids that like walk around wearing their jerseys are that's not true.
I was gonna say, that's
the
not
other
true at
kids
all.
have to sit down.
yeah.
They just have to stay in a room until the draft's over.
They say we'll mail your jersey to you.
We have jerseys with us. Only one of them is blank, which is Pete's Oilers jersey. We could have
I
a
have a
little fun
jersey
with
with me.
that. Do you have a blank jersey with you?
I have my not that I could get a current player on, I guess, but it's my all-star jersey.
I was going to say if we just had blank jerseys of teams, we could just go around pretending to be draft picks. Good content.
Oh,
That would
yeah.
be
We could vlog that so hard.
You remember those
Should we
like,
actually do that?
those
Fuck.
old
You might
YouTube
go to a concert after.
those old YouTube videos where like somebody will just hire a camera crew to
Pretend you're a celebrity.
to walk around like Times Square pretending you're a celebrity.
Yep.
Let's do that, except it's clearly me, like a 5'6", 33-year-old man.
The worst prospect.
yeah.
Yeah. The worst prospect.
The worst prospect at the NHL
I
draft.
mean, Bauer Rankings. Let's start with stonks up on Bauer itself because we went to their party and there were a lot of prospects walking around. It would have been you could have just Just slunk in with them. Slunk in when they're walking around, people coming up to them saying, hey, good luck. If you just slunk in, they'd be like, extra good luck.
Yeah.
Ton of good luck.
Stonks up for me. One of the guys that I talked to there, my guy. I'm going to declare him my guy of this draft. Cole Eiserman. I love Cole Eiserman. Such a good kid. He's a stud. Got a great shot, as Cam Robinson said. One of the best, maybe the best offensive player in this draft. I hope he has an unbelievable career. I love that kid.
Stonks up, EJ Emery. That's my guy. Saw him at the Bauer party, and I said, oh, yeah. And then saw him later, and I said, hey, EJ, got to talk to him. Very nice.
Very nice.
Oh, the thing that I talked to Eiserman at Bauer was last year in Nashville. Saw him at the airport. I asked him why he was going to Minnesota because he's a New England kid. He's from Massachusetts. Asked him why he was going to Minnesota and not going to one of the Hockey East schools. We're famously Hockey East boys. He said that he just really liked Minnesota. And then I talked to his agent, and his agent was like, yeah, he made his decision up a week prior to that. And so I felt really bad that knowing that I forced him to lie to my face at the airport in Nashville upon first meeting.
What?
But
why did you force him to lie? I don't know.
Because he did not change he did not officially uncommit to Minnesota or decommit to Minnesota.
So that's what I figured.
Until 2 weeks later, and he had been sitting on his decision. And I was like, "Why are you going to Minnesota?"
And he had not.
And
he was
had
not
to
going to
make
Minnesota.
up why he was not going to Minnesota.
Gotcha.
So I felt bad finding that out this week.
Stonks down on Heat. It's not so bad here, but there have been some bad moments. Can't walk anywhere. Can't do anything. Waiting for an Uber sucks.
That's what I was discussing earlier. The difference between the Florida Heat and this Heat is
It's been a big debate with these boys.
the Florida Heat sucks because the second you step outside, you're drenched.
You're
It's
wet.
so humid.
Yeah.
But you can at the end of the day, it is 85 degrees, 90 degrees. You could spend a little bit of time outside.
It's 110 here.
It is 100. You physically cannot spend that long outside.
Challenge accepted. Would much rather spend 45 minutes outside here than 10 minutes outside in Florida.
You'll die.
I will not.
We all will.
Famously, people come to Arizona all the time and hike, and they're like, I have a bottle of water with me. And then they have to get
I'm not hiking.
medevac.
All you said was that I have to stand outside. I will stand outside tomorrow for 45 minutes, and I will not die.
Any other stonks up or down? Because there's one big one that we've
I have
yet to reveal.
Stonks question mark. I am just curious. The Arizona Coyotes front office over the last couple of years
Not off to a good start.
has worn matching suits.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Utah
going
do
to
it.
Utah? That's what I want to know.
I
Is
would
Bill
almost
Armstrong and
guarantee
company.
no.
Why not?
Because you got to leave that shit behind.
You got to rebrand.
But
Yeah.
it was like a Bill Armstrong thing. It wasn't necessarily a Coyotes thing.
Well, now Bill Armstrong has a boss, Chris Armstrong.
That's right.
Did he not have a boss last year?
Huh?
Did he not have a boss last year?
I mean, he was the head guy in charge of the Coyotes operation.
I guess.
Yeah. He now reports to Chris Armstrong. I do think genuinely you got to leave that shit in Arizona.
Did you see, by the way, what Bill Armstrong did at the combine this year, where he was he did some of the drills and measurements?
Bill Armstrong,
His arms.
Stud.
He was Armstrong.
he is
It was a joke.
Was that whole thing a joke?
Yeah, he didn't go to the
Okay.
fight. I just wanted to say
I don't know.
his arms were strong.
Well, I mean, it could be
Shout
true.
out Matt Friend.
It could be true. I could see him doing that.
He
we
is,
know that
he's in
Rod
shape.
Brindamore
Yeah.
sets the
Famously works out.
sets the standard for the Carolina Hurricanes' conditioning test in preseason.
Biggest stonks question mark is what we're about to do, because we're going to dinner after this, a very late dinner, and we are going to a place. Maybe I won't shout it out because who knows, but it is, Sean, a steak place.
Oh,
But it is the craziest steak place I've ever seen. Our friend FaceTimed me and said, hey, we're going to a steak dinner. Want to come? And I turned to Pete and I was like, man, I literally don't have a wallet. And I don't know, we want to do something tonight, but maybe we don't do a big steak dinner. And then he showed me a video of this place. And it is just men celebrating that steak exists. They
Can I like describe it? I know you said you didn't want to name it, and I'm going to describe the concept here, and it's going to give away what it is.
My description was pretty good.
The one that like I kind of all right. So I say this is Shark Tank, and here's the pitch:
Okay.
a steakhouse, but also Deal or No Deal. But
I think I've seen videos of this before.
it's a steakhouse.
They
Deal
got,
or
like,
no
the
deal.
briefcases?
You open up
Yes.
the briefcases,
And they just
every
like party.
briefcase has steak in it.
Yeah.
And it's just all dudes screaming and freaking out that there is steak in there.
I've seen videos of that, I think.
So that's what we are doing.
Buddy,
Oh,
I
okay.
am the most tired person on the planet. I was 99% sure I was not doing fucking anything tonight. I got an early morning, gotta sit down with the Amazon documentary people tomorrow morning. I don't want to look horrible. As soon as I heard the concept of this idea, immediately in.
I was so
Immediately in.
excited. I showered and took Tylenol because I'm going to have a headache from this. So I'm just getting prepared for it.
The video in which we were shown is the best sales pitch I've ever seen. It's somebody opening up a briefcase. It has like a cop car siren on the briefcase, and it's just a bunch of dudes screaming. Some dude go, "What did
Let's
you yell?"
go! It's fucking steak. You're at the steak place,
I
man.
love steak.
I also
Well,
love
get ready
steak.
to fucking love
Can
steak,
I
buddy.
give you a little steak fact or beef fact? You know how like places will always advertise they're like 100% Angus beef.
Yeah.
Angus is like the most common cow in America. It is not special at all. Like
It's all
that
about
is
branding.
just what most beef is Angus beef.
It's
I
Mad Men.
I like-
It's just straight.
I like
marketing, yeah.
regular beef.
I mean, I do too. I'm just they try to make it sound fancy, and it's just
I remember
The-
Burger King had that Angus Whopper.
Yeah.
I would dip into
Did it
that.
hit?
That thing was pretty good. That was the only like Burger King thing I've ever enjoyed.
chicken fries.
Chicken fries.
Chicken fries,
pie in a
okay.
box. Those
What's the Hershey pie?
yeah.
Hershey pie, unbelievable.
That's that good stuff.
Too much chocolate.
We also are 15 minutes late for this dinner, and we've done a pretty long episode. Sean, would you just threw your hands up?
I mean, I gotta complain a second. You threw this on me, and now we're gonna be late, and I need time to get ready.
Get ready.
Uh,
Get ready with me. I'll get ready as well, and then
I
you
mean,
can
I didn't
GRWM.
shower or anything.
Shower.
Buddy,
No,
you're gonna
it's
be
a-
showering
They
the
wait.
steak.
They wait for us. This company.
This is an absolutely delirious episode.
If they're doing, you don't FaceTime invite somebody to something unless you are willing to wait for the boys to shower. That's just Steakhouse 101.
If you say so.
Sean, what's your fucking problem? Just like, why are you not showering right now?
all right, we got to say goodbye to you before Sean flips a fucking tit and
Yeah.
and
Throwing
throws
another
a temper
tantrum.
and doesn't want to go to Deal or No Steak. So thank you to everybody. This is, I think, our last episode in Vegas. We will see you back in Massachusetts. Enjoy the first round of the NHL Draft. Enjoy
Next episode is free agency bonanza.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I don't know if we're going to survive, but we have 2 more episodes left this season, I believe. Like regularly scheduled episodes.
I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking I
Think
don't.
about that
If you dwell in the past or look forward to the future, you're not living in the present. You know who told me that?
Linus Olmark.
Linus Olmark. He's a good man. All right. Talk to you in the present. Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.